What's going on YouTube? OCD for EDC here. What I've got for your face balls today, we're going to be talking some Jack Wolf knives. And just real quick, this is going to be the packaging that you will receive your Jack Wolf knives if you order one from OCD for EDC. This one here happens to be the green micarta variant. But just to show that off real quick, they will ship to you in a nice soft touch black box just like this. Everybody loves a good black box, right? Giggity. Little shout out to Floss. You guys have already seen the canisters here, the sharpshooter jack. They're absolutely gorgeous. But what we're going to do in this video, we are going to dissect a Jack Wolf knife. Mainly because I want to show you what all's inside this knife, so you don't have to tear yours apart, because slip joints are kind of notoriously a pain in the butt to tear apart. And so I'm going to show you guys what's inside these things. You also get this nice leather slip. Let's do the smell test real quick. Oh yeah, that was a good hit right there. It's good stuff. And of course the embossed cap there. But let's get into this knife. We are going to disassemble the Jack Wolf. And like I said, personally, I would try to discourage guys from disassembling their Jack Wolf knife unless you're, extremely confident in your ability to reassemble the knife. So basically, I'm doing this video to show you guys what's inside these things and the reason that these knives are so fantastic in the precision. Most modern slip joints these days have stop pins inside them instead of the correct slip joint geometry. I had to actually consult Ben on this because I knew this had a name, but I couldn't remember. And this little piece right here is called the kick. And that is what bottoms out on the back spring down in there. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this actually. Let me turn my other light on here. There we go. So you can see that little rub mark right down in there. And that's the part that rests on the back spring when it's in the closed position. But the geometries all have to be perfect here. So you've got perfect alignment of your back spring to the two scales all the way across the back of the knife in the closed position, again in the half stop, so you can see here that that spring rises up as you're coming around, but then it rests back into perfectly flush, and then again as you go open, and then all the way open again perfectly flush. Now you can see the transition between the blade and the back spring right there. It is perfect in every single way. Most modern slip joints do not have this kind of precision. The other thing is this has just an absolute beautiful hollow grind, and this is not something that is done by machine. This is done by hand. And so in order to get beautiful hollow grinds like this, it takes skill to be able to do that. And these are absolutely beautiful hollow grinds. So these are hand ground blades, not machine ground. And all of that adds up to why these knives cost what they do. Also, just the fit and finish from, the gaps. I mean, there are just no gaps from the covers to the titanium. Just everything about these knives is perfect. Blade centering, spot on. They're absolutely gorgeous. Let's take a gander here, and we're just going to start pulling out some screws. These are titanium hardware, and they are T8 on the cover screws. And let's see here. Now this is my first time disassembling a Jack Wolf. Okay, so the cover came off. Now you can see that this is numbered. This one here is numbered 149. We also have 149 on the titanium right there. and I assume we're going to have 149 on every single part. And so that's another reason why these knives cost what they do, because you can't just mass produce a knife like this to where you just have a ton of blades in a bin and handle, covers and all that sort of stuff. There we go. So 149, 149. So these are all kept in order. And then we've got 149 right there. If you guys can see it, it's kind of faint. So it says 149 right there. And then again, 149 right there. Okay. And now, I don't know if those are going to be T8 or not. They almost look like T6. And they are T6. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do first, let's see. We're just going to see if we can break one of these loose. I don't know how much Loctite's on. Okay. So that came loose right away. Hopefully, we'll be able to just pull one scale side off. That's my intention here, but we'll see how it goes. So those two back spring screws came out, and then I'm pretty confident that I'm going to need 2 T10s for the pivot, and I would love it if I can just get this screw out on this side. Actually, I'm going to do it like, all right, so I got this screw out on this side. So now that should allow me to pull this scale off of this side and hopefully leave the rest all together, is my intention. I'm going to go ahead and open the knife up here. Now, one thing that I probably would recommend if you're going to do this is to blue tape. And actually, I'm just going to go ahead and do that real quick. We're just going to go ahead, just so I don't cut the hell out of myself here. We'll just blue tape that blade just so I don't do anything dumb and bleed all over on this video. All right. Okay, so I'm getting this scale off here. Man, the precision here, these things are tight. It's pretty incredible, actually. All right, there we go. But there we go. So you can see the blade number right there is number 149. And yeah, every single part on here is numbered. The back spring, I don't see a number on it, but I am fairly certain that it's going to be there. You can see here, actually, let me take, where is... All right, we're going to pull this apart really quick just to take a look in here, and then I'll show you the difference between these knives. All right, perfect. We didn't get the wrong side out there. Now, hopefully this screw here will come right out. Excellent. And it did. Okay. Now, so you can see here, much cheaper, and the back spring's actually recessed on this. This is a little Tucson model, again with M390, but all of the tolerances and stuff are just not the same on this knife, and therefore, you know, it's a much cheaper knife. And, you know, that's fine. You're just not getting the same level of precision and quality with this as you are with the Jack Wolf. And, you know, that's reflected in the price. And I'd like to keep the pins in here just to keep, just so I don't lose the tension on the back spring. This right here is a great representation of, you know, your typical modern slip joint. So you can see it's riding on phosphor bronze washers right there, phosphor bronze washer. This one happens to be M390, but you have a stop pin in here, which is not traditional for a slip joint. Come on, let me get this stop pin put in here before I lose it. Okay. Now, when you bring this knife around to this position, you can see there that the blade rests on that stop pin, and that's what keeps the blade from hitting the back spring all the way through. And by utilizing a stop pin, you can, with that choil like that, it allows you to get more blade in the handle. But again, this is not traditional, you know, this is not how slip joints were traditionally made. However, on the Jack Wolf knife, you can see we're riding on phosphor bronze. And then when we go ahead and go to the half stop position here, and then go around to the full stop position, you can see that the kick rests on the back spring right there, and that keeps the blade away from the back spring. This is how traditional slip joints are made, and all of these angles here, you can see that none of those are just 90 degrees. And the angles, the radius, everything about that is precision. The lock face, or well, not really the lock face, but the top of the back spring and how it lines up with the blade, everything about this is very, very precision. You can see that there's a tiny little gap where there's a little, just the tiniest bit of concave from this corner to this corner. It bellies down just a little bit in the middle there. And so, you know, right now that back spring is resting here and here at the exact same time. And then once you go around into this open position, you can see that the back spring hits right here and right here at the same moment. So that gives the maximum amount of leverage against the blade, so it doesn't want to close up on your hand. And with this, you just don't have anywhere near that kind of a precision mechanism going on here. So you can see how much they bellied that out in between, and that's just so they can, you know, make a whole bunch of blades, just throw them in a container, and they're all going to work and fit. And then, whoop, and I lost my spring tension. Just like that. All right, so that one we're just going to go ahead and disassemble all the way and clean it up and put it back together, which I'm not going to bore you with all that. But with the Jack Wolf knives, you can just see the level of precision that we're talking about here. I mean, they're absolutely fantastic. Every single part in here is finished. It's tracked through the production. Everything about this it's perfect in every single way. The blades are just beautifully ground and just amazing all the way around. Riding on phosphor bronze washers, titanium handles. I don't know what steel the back springs are, but certainly a stainless steel. And they are just absolutely a gorgeous, gorgeous knife that is really fantastic. And like I said, you can see right here that each individual component is numbered and is absolutely spectacular. That's what you're paying for when you buy a Jack Wolf knife, is this level of precision. You know, also These are very traditional in the construction method and how they're put together. You know, traditional knives are generally pinned construction. This is screw construction, but as you can see here, I definitely do not recommend people to just go ahead and disassemble these knives. There is a technique and kind of an art form to it, and you know, I would recommend that you just go ahead and leave yours together. If you want to see what's inside of it, you can check out this video. I'm going to go ahead and throw just a little bit of Slick 'em All in here. Just a tiny amount, actually. Yeah, I really care about it right here. I'm not going to go ahead and take the blade out because I don't want to lose that spring tension. And actually, you know what? I'm going to show you how to do this once it's all put back together so you can maintenance your knife as well. When you guys get your Jack Wolf knives and you want to maintenance the knife, you can actually wash this knife out just under hot soapy water. It will be completely fine. So you can see here, I just snapped it together with my fingers, and you can see that there are no gaps. I don't have the screws in there yet. There are no gaps, and I'm just holding it together at the front. But that's the kind of precision that we're talking about. I mean, this thing just snapped together perfectly. Let's grab a T6 here and throw these screws back in. Perfect. And then we have our T10 on the pivot. Excellent. All right, now I'm going to throw the covers back on. And I need a T8 for that. It's pretty cool to see how these knives, you know, how they have every single part numbered and tracked through its production. You know, and like I said, that's really what you're paying for, is that sort of attention to detail. And you know, these are really more like a mid-tech than they are, or you know, what a lot of people refer to as a mid-tech, than they are a production knife, just because there's that level of detail and attention paid to every one of these knives, with every single part being numbered and kept as a set through production. And that's fantastic. The quality level here is really well done. And you know, and I also think that that's just it was always going to be that way. Ben was going to make sure that these things were just absolutely spectacular quality from day one. Blade centering is spot on. All right, so when you want to maintenance this, you can take your Slick 'em All, and right down here, you just want to put a tiny little dab. Oop. And I got more than I bargained for there, but that's okay. We'll go ahead and I'm going to use that. And by the way, with the Slick 'em All, you can suck it right back in to itself. So by utilizing that syringe, and then I'm going to go ahead and get that work down in there just a tiny bit, like so. just like that. Okay, now I think I got my pivot just a little bit too tight here. Yeah, there we go. Absolutely zero blade play of any kind. This thing is rock solid. We've got our lube in there hitting our corners exactly the way we want it. The back spring, absolutely gorgeous. Perfectly centered. Man, this thing, it's so good in hand. It feels great. Ladies, you know the procedures. It's just a fantastic knife. You know, generally I carry stuff larger than a 3-inch knife, but I've really been super impressed with the sharpshooter jack here, and I hope you guys are too, because I know Ben worked his butt off on this. There you go, guys. There's disassembly on the sharpshooter jack. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Like I said, I don't recommend that you take yours apart. As a matter of fact, I would actually encourage you not to do so. But if you want to check it out and see what it looks like inside, you can come and check out this video. They're all going to be the same. If you want to pull one of your covers off just to see what number you've got or something like that, you know, that's not a big deal. It's just 2 T8s. But if you pull the pivot screw apart and you lose the spring tension on the back spring, you're going to have a fight on your hands. And definitely don't want to see anybody cut the heck out of themselves, because this blade right here and that beautiful, beautiful hollow grind will absolutely cut you to the bone. So anyway, hopefully you enjoyed that, and we will catch you next time. Remember, these go live April 15th, 1 p.m. Central Time, and you can pick yours up at ocdforedc.com. I'm out.